thought I'd do this book review in the garden, because it's the place where I've done most of my reading. But yeah, not done very many book reviews in the last few weeks. In fact, I've done none in the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's because I've been called back to school and not had as much time for reading. But I have been reading this book by Smith Wigglesworth on spirit-filled living. Now, I've heard of this fella, and I think the reason I've heard of him is because, and most of you probably have, Smith Wigglesworth, is because of some of the many miracles that he did in the 1800s. For that reason, you couldn't really escape. You know, if somebody was going around doing miracles, you couldn't escape hearing about him, I guess, which is why so many people wrote and said things and had heard about Jesus, because obviously the miracles that he did required some kind of explanation. So that's why I've heard of him, but I'd never actually read up about him or researched him or didn't really know a lot about him. So I was given this book to read by someone from Hannah's side of the family, and yeah, it was a real eye-opener. It was amazing, some of the things that he did, some of the healings, miraculous healings that he did. And I think this book is going to be something that a lot of people will have to make a decision about. I think any of my friends on Facebook who might be cessationists, I'd say, you need to read this book, because it's clear that God still works miracles and didn't just do it through the apostles. Well, we know that anyway, because Stephen was a deacon and he performed miracles, didn't he? But, some people would say, no, it's only by apostolic privilege that miracles were done. But no, this guy did miracles. So that's one thing I'd have to say. I'd also have to say, to those of you who, do get caught up in, healing ministries and get excited about things like that, I'd say you need to read this book as well. Because, when you switch on the channel and you see some of the things from some of the healing meetings that are going on in America, and how just, people are filling those auditoriums and coming up onto the stage to get healed, and it's like, one after another. Well, I would say, this fella was not like that. He did not go up on stage and have these healing meetings and things. He did these, all the tales in here of his miraculous healings were all done privately in houses, in bedrooms, and he wasn't doing it for his own glory on a big stage. He was doing it purely for the glory of God. And God really blessed his ministry and blessed people through his ministry and brought power to his life, which is fantastic. So I would say, you need to read this book. And it's in stark contrast, really, to just what I just read just now when I was doing my quiet time. I came to this verse. Samuel's defending his time as being the last judge of Israel. And he says, he defends his time, and then everyone agrees with him and says, yeah, you have not defrauded us or oppressed us or taken anything from any man's hand. Samuel could say that. There's no way some of these healers in America could say that today. They've taken a lot of money from a lot of people's hands. And, it's been criminal, some of the false promises and things that they've done. But Smith was not like that. He was the real deal. And it's a challenging book, very challenging. And you'll see why. Because I'm going to read just one paragraph from the book. And you'll just realise why it's a call, to be everything it can be for the glory of God. Here we go. Beloved, God wants us to be something more than ordinary people. Remember this: if you are ordinary, you have not reached the ideal principles of God. The only thing that God has for a man is to be extraordinary. God has no room for an ordinary man. There are millions of ordinary people in the world, but when God takes hold of a man, he makes him extraordinary in personality, power, thought, and activity. There's a call to be better, to be spirit-filled people, and to live for the glory of God.